Hey guys, welcome back to Chesapeake Guitar and Amp Repair. This week on the bench, I have a 1976 model 1987 Marshall JMP. It's got two EL34s. It's got three 12AX7s. It's a pretty staple guitar amp for a lot of people. This is the first year for the PCB boards. This amp had a bunch of bad repairs in the past, and I didn't get any good pictures of it because when I bought the amp, a guy called me. He wanted me to repair it so then he could turn around and sell it. Well, then he actually just offered me to buy it. So that's what I did. I ended up buying it, and I'm going to restore it. And I planned on keeping it for a while, but, you know, I probably have too many things, and I got to let this go. So typical to cobbler shoes, when I got this thing, I opened it up and I just got it going. I got it going good enough. So I ripped out the master volume mod that you can see in this picture in the top of the left-hand corner. Someone drilled a hole in it to accommodate a master volume, which was fine. It just wasn't done poorly. Instead of me redoing it, I just took it out. And I just wanted to get this thing back to stock. So I also undid some of the input jack. They had some modifications done to the input jack to group the input jacks together, but I got rid of all of that. I put it back, but I didn't do a good full service, and this video is showing a good full service. Now, some people's definitions of a good full service on a Marshall, especially one of this era, could be different. There are a lot of things that Marshall could have done better. A lot of people replace the impedance selector. A lot of people redo the grounding scheme. Sometimes the heaters aren't wrapped very tightly. So the heaters, which are those red and black wires that are on the back of the chassis, they could be wound tighter and ran better to quiet down the amp. The grid resistors could be placed differently in certain locations on the amp. You also could wire a shielded cable, which will decrease that noise floor. Doing all these things also make the amp look like it's been messed with. So it depends on what you're going for. I know the person that's buying this is going to want it to just look as original as possible. So that's what I'm going for. So to start things off, I pulled all the pots. I cleaned up any of the loose wires. There's a lot of kind of just loose wires and long leads on things, so I straightened some of those out, as you can see in this video. I took out any capacitor that was non-original and replaced it with something that would have been used in this amp, or as close as I could find that would have been put in this amp. The electrolytics are obviously very new production. Electrolytics are important. You really shouldn't be using new old stock electrolytics. The point of the electrolytics is you need it to be stable. So I didn't redo any of the grounding schemes. I didn't redo the heaters. I didn't put any shielded cable on anything. I just try to make it look as original as possible, and decreasing some of the lead length, especially on the grids, really helps lower the noise floor on these amps. So if nothing else, it's important to do those things. And I forgot, let me talk about this. So you see me adjusting the impedance selector. A lot of people say that those impedance selectors are just like, you can't use them. You can, not all of them. Usually you can get away with just cleaning them and tensioning them, just like you tension the pins on a tube socket. So keep that in mind before you do anything drastic to replace one of those impedance selectors. Sometimes it's inevitable, you got to replace them, but you can clean them, retension them, and they're as good as new. There's some tips and tricks to reading the resistance on those to see if they are good, which I won't go into detail about, but you can look it up and just clean up those solder joints and make sure the thing looks good. That's all for now. I guess I'll see you guys next week. New video every Saturday. Follow me at Chesapeake Repair.